First of all, I want to thank you both so much for joining me here on the Sherlock Brew Podcast. And welcome, Florin and Gonzalo. I'm so excited you're here, and I really look forward to today's conversation. But before we get started, I'm going to invite you both to briefly introduce yourself, your role. Let's start with you, Florin.
All right. I'm Avanad's Chief AI Officer, which is a very fancy sounding title, but what it means in real life is that I'm responsible for the transformation that we're doing as a company to truly embrace and adopt AI to change the way we do our business.
Fantastic. What about you,
And
Gonzalo?
my name is Gonzalo, but you don't have to say it that way in the Spanish accent. I work in the OCM practice at the UK firm, and I basically help with the people change. So big technical transformations also obviously require the people to be guided along the way, and that's where I fit in.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we'll start the first question actually with you, Gonzalo. So, as you know, Gen Z, which you are one, are renowned for their digital savviness and experimentation, experiential mindset. So, how do you and your peers feel about the use of Gen AI in the workplace?
Well, first of all, I think I'm pushing the limit for Gen Z as a 1995 born. I think I'm right in the middle, right? But I think I'll still speak on behalf of everyone. No, you can tell how excited everyone is. People in my generation like really latch on to some of these big technological changes, and it's one of those things that has permeated beyond just the normal conversations that we have at work into our normal lives. So Gen AI and AI are a topic that you'll see in our WhatsApp group chats, and it's stuff that people will share content about, and it reminds me a bit of blockchain in that it promises so much that people, I think young people are really excited by it.
So, Florin, our next question related to is the fact that there's no doubt that Gen Z are expected to extensively use Gen AI tools in their work. So, as Chief AI Officer, what advice do you have to help us make sure that this is done with the right guardrails?
So I'm glad you introduced me as Gen Z because I'm a little bit older than that. I think I qualify as Gen X. But joking aside, I mean I really do believe that um, the two fundamental dimensions of this is training awareness and proper responsible AI framework in place. So we as a company, we have embarked on a journey to train literally every single individual in the company, tens of thousands of people, through something that we call School of AI, which is aiming to uplift the awareness and skills of everybody in the company around this space. So we do have three modules that everybody in the company is going through. The
Mhm,
first one is understanding the basics of what generative AI is, so people can start to get their head around the weaknesses, the strength, the limitations, and the fact that it is just a co-pilot, so to say, helping you in your job. It's not intended to replace your job.
mhm,
It's not intended to take the responsibility away from you. You're still accountable. So the first module is around the basics of what generative AI is and isn't.
mhm,
The second module is around responsible AI, which is the patterns, the practices, a little bit of the art of how we make responsible AI fair, equitable, accountable, transparent,
mhm,
inclusive, and so forth. And then the third module, which is frankly getting raving reviews from our Gen Z population, is a training in prompt design. So
mhm,
the sort of the skills, and again, it's a bit of an art and a science of how you engage with this technology to make it do what you want it to do and what you intended to do, and to avoid hallucinations and make it useful for you. And I
mhm,
particularly think this third module is really important because I feel that knowing how to engage with Gen AI and to have good prompt design skills is going to be as important as knowing how to browse the internet or write an email or make a phone call. I mean, we all take that for granted. That's kind of silly of me to even say that, but I do believe the same applies to prompting. It's something that we all need to get really good at, and it's not natural for all people, even if you're a Gen Z.
Mm. That's really interesting and exciting, Florin. I remember last time we talked about the School of AI. What a tremendous opportunity offered at Avanade. It must be a privilege to work there. So, Gonzalo, the next question for you is, given the pace of change these days and the incredible resources now you have access to in and outside of Avanade, how do you keep up to date with the latest on Gen AI and perhaps tech in general?
Well, a huge one is the formal learning that Avanade provides, and I'm sure other companies have similar stuff, maybe not as cutting edge because we're literally at the center of everything that Microsoft's doing on AI. But um, formal learning in the way that Florin was just describing also exists beyond Avanade. And there's one course that I recently did called Azure AI Fundamentals. So it's part of a wider M3 Microsoft range of certifications that anyone can do. And it's a great intro into the key concepts, the understanding of the business value, and also the ethical considerations. And aside from the formal learning, I really like podcasts because I feel like you're in the room with some of these industry leading people like Sam Altman, Satya Nadella, Florin. I don't know if I can put you up up there, but
That is glorious and very flattering. Like group of people. I don't belong up there with them, but thank you anyway, Gonzalo.
you'll notice it's a double compliment because I'm complimenting the medium that Faye is actually hosting as well. But yeah, I would really recommend, for example, the Lex Friedman podcast, who has had those big names on, and it's really interesting because it's not just about the tech; it's also about the people side. So as a change management person, it hits every note.
Mhm. Yeah, no, this is super fascinating. I always love these recommendations and podcasts or podcast episodes I really wouldn't have otherwise discovered on my own. So, thanks so much for watching. I hope you find it helpful. We'll soon be back with our next podcast. In the meantime, please share this episode with your friends and colleagues.